here we go again, bro. We back with another episode. We gonna keep it rolling with the current events. I told y'all I like what we did last week, so we gonna keep it moving. How y'all doing tonight?
Man, we in the building, baby. We in the building.
You see, I brought a guest to the show. I got my boy Manny Blac here. Salute to you, brother. What's going on?
Yeah, man, chilling, man.
Clubhouse official.
Hey, my man.
Aficionado, huh?
Hey, man. We taking over all platforms at one bit at a time, man.
Everywhere.
One bit at a time.
I'm everywhere and you ain't never there.
There you go. But yeah, man, I hope everybody feeling good tonight, man. I want to keep it going with some of the current events we got going on in the world right now. Some of the stuff you might have heard about. If you haven't, you probably been up under a rock. I think over the past couple of months since I started this whole YouTube situation, I'm seeing a lot more stuff that's going on out here. So I think what's current to me might not be current to others, but I think a lot of this stuff y'all might be privy to. Last week on the current events, we spoke about Deion Sanders. You know,
Yes,
he left the HBCU to go to Colorado University. And you know, that put the people up in the uproar. Go ahead.
What's your take on that?
My take on that? Listen, I don't get in front of nobody's bag, right? That man left a school where he was making $300,000 and he's making $5 million a year with Colorado, right? And you know, that's a significant amount of money. I'm not even finna sit here and try to do that math, but we all know 300,000 versus 5 million. That's a big difference. Now we could look at it from different angles.
400. That's 400 and 700. That's 4,700,000.
$4.7 million difference. All right.
4.7 more, yeah.
And we could look at it from multiple angles, right? Last week we looked at Dr. Umar Johnson and his viewpoints, and you already know how he is, right? Mr. Pan-African. And then we also looked at it from Jason Whitlock's point of view, where he didn't particularly like the fact that of the way he went into the school. I don't think he spoke too much about him actually doing it, but a lot of people's sentiments on that was that he could have stayed.
I didn't hear his take.
Well, Jason Whitlock was basically saying he went into the program and he came in kind of hard saying that he's coming and everybody needs to be on point, because if not, they're going to be out of there, right? And Jason Whitlock, from the video we watched or the short that we watched, he said that Deion is going to get a rude awakening and that he's going to fail because he doesn't have what it takes to coach at that level.
Because players don't transition well to being good coaches.
Exactly.
That's what he was saying. And yeah, I think that's the most controversial part of it right there. Because you don't say that when he already succeeded at doing it at the HBCU.
But see, the thing is with that, most of your coaches that they was players, they stopped at a collegiate level. Now they NFL coaches. Now they stopped at the high school level. Now they're NFL coaches. So you can't really sit there and say, "Hey, man, players can't do it," because most of your players that's in the league that's coaching in the league have played some form of football. They just never made it to that level. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them ain't never make it to that NFL level to be a great in the Hall of Fame like Deion. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing something that ain't been done before. So me personally, I'm rooting for the man to be successful, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just rooting for him to be successful no matter where he go at.
Facts.
That's my take on it.
I think he's
people
gonna
don't realize though, big man, and professor, that man was trying to do a lot for that school. And him and the president, you know, allegedly the president, you know, president was stopping everything the man was trying to do. The man was trying to do stuff for the school, and the president was more like, you know, them black colleges, them presidents always be more like in a small town. They'd be the deans or whatever who run the school. They'd be more like the president in that town. You know, they move around like they fired and stuff. So you see somebody that's more famous than you, got more money than you. You know, you brought them to the school, and you see a celebrity outpower yours. That was a problem. It was a bunch of stuff going on behind the scene that Deion never let out. That's the reason why. And then he was trying to get other people to put money into it, the program, and to make the program work and to bring black people in, and these black celebrities that niggas ain't donate. I mean, people ain't donate nothing. You know what I'm saying? So With that being said, man, that man did what's best for him and his family. I would have did the same thing. I'm pro Black. If you know me, you know I'm pro Black to the bone. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I got to do what's best for my family.
Right.
I feel.
So an article was sent to me a little bit earlier today, and it just outlined some of the things that Dion went through. He had his car broken into. Him and his son had their car broken into.
Yep. The office was broken into.
He didn't receive bonuses from the school after he won the SWAC championship. The alumni wouldn't donate. Schools didn't feed students and players well. The city of Jackson didn't support the school. State salary was $300,000 a year, and his new salary is going to be $5 million a year.
That's a no-brainer.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. We talked about it last week, where those funds that they promised him, that's included in his salary, the school
are projected.
They're projected funds. So the school is basically saying that we are so confident in what this man's going to do for us. We're going to pay him in projected funds, and we will make sure he gets his share of his money. And if
that's the new school,
that's Colorado.
Yeah. So Colorado. And then if you look at what he's doing already, he's already secured some top talent to come to the school. And see, I think this is what people missed about the name Deion Sanders, right? That name carries weight.
Big weight.
Us on this panel, we know what Deion is, right? These new kids, they heard stories. So he's the man, the myth, the legend to some of these new generation of football players.
He's the Bo Jackson. He's the Bo Jackson, like we ain't never see, but the myth and the legend. He's the Bo Jackson. I get what you're saying.
Exactly. So now they say, oh, Deion's at Colorado State. He's looking at me. Yeah, I'm going. And if you look at Colorado State record over the past 10 years, that is a dumpster fire team.
20.
Whatever. I could just take the past decade and say that they are trash. So Deion is going to, off the top, he's going to say, okay, let me get some talent in here. And then if they listen to what he's saying, he obviously has the skill to coach people up. And listen, coaching football is like anything else. Surround yourself with talent. If you surround yourself with the right assistant coaches, you can build a quality team. And it's already shown. He's already brought how many coaches from these HBCUs?
Five.
So in the first month,
hold on. You forgot something. You forgot something very big. Something very big.
Refresh me then.
Get all that. He got the offensive coordinator. That dude. He got the defensive coordinator. That dude. Yeah. Watch how many people the other day dropped out from Miami. 24 people dropped from University of Miami. Left and went into the portal.
That's crazy. That's how much pull. Yeah. That's how much pull those people have that he's pulling.
And if I'm Deion, I would reconsider them people from Miami, because Miami's been a dumpster fire for a while too. But we ain't gonna talk about that.
Hey,
listen.
Hallelujah.
They haven't been good since the documentary came out. Last Chance You.
Well, listen. I just gave you some information. What you're not gonna do is sit up here and discredit my team. It's like
hey, you, man,
I don't listen. Listen, this how pro Black I am, bro. I don't even have an NFL team. I don't even watch NFL football since that whole Kaepernick stuff. I'm being honest with you. I just don't. And it ain't got nothing to do with Kaepernick. It got something to do with the bigger scheme of things. And the team I used to like was the Cowboys. And when Jerry Jones said what he said, I was like, wow. From that point, it was over with. That's why when that picture came out with Jerry Jones, I just was heartbroken. We'll talk about that another time.
I'm gonna tell you like this: don't get hung up on too much of those nuances. I respect the fact that you're in tune with it, man. But let that person die alone. Don't trash the whole Dallas Cowboy team because this man is who he is. Right?
Nah, trash him.
Man. No. I trash the whole NFL in general. And I got some friends and people I know that play NFL football. Like I just talked to one of them today. Matter of fact, I just talked to DJ Reed, number 2 for the Jets, number 4 for the Jets right now. He used to be for Seattle and stuff. That's a friend of mine. That's a friend, so I just talked to him today and stuff. So it's like for me, You know what I'm saying? I don't watch NFL football. When I do decide to watch football, college football, the U always my team. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't like what the U been having going on for the last damn 15 years. It just ain't been what it's
ever
supposed to be.
since Willis McGahee, that last year with McGahee, I think they played Ohio. Was it Ohio State?
Frank Gore.
No. It was Willis McGahee. He was the running back in Ohio State. They played and they chopped that man low and messed up his knee.
I got what you're saying, but I'm saying, but see, you gotta see what we don't.
But that was the last year because they lost.
So,
they lost.
Yeah, Clinton Portis. Listen, you had Clinton Portis. Yeah, Willis McGahee. Then you had Frank Gore. Frank Gore came out as a high schooler, as a ninth grader, as a freshman. I mean, not ninth grade, but as a freshman in college. Started, blew his ACL. Portis started. He came back the next year, blew the other ACL. McGahee started. He played 1 year, his junior year, and that junior he went into the NFL. And that boy was the longest lasting running back to ever play in the league.
Yeah, that's how raw that boy was. An animal when he was with San Fran. That's he was with San Fran.
Yeah.
Listen, bro. Think about it, Professor.
He made me a lot of money in fantasy football, bro. Don't get it twisted.
Well, see, you talking to a guy that played and he's played against him growing up and stuff. So Frank Gore, man, I watched that guy, man. I watched my junior year, man. We was at the #1 defense in Florida, and I watched, and that's Miami Northwestern. And I watched nobody was scoring on us. We had a squad, man. I watched Frank Gore was taking teams up 300, 400 yards, and they putting this dude out, like sit out the rest of the game. I watched that dude come play against us. We had that boy at 70 yards by halftime. That boy came back out. He'd be spattered up with 3/4 cleats and everything. That boy came out with the little soccer cleats on. Took all the little dreads. He took all that stuff off, the wristbands, everything off. And bro, ate it up for 200 yards.
He wasn't
after halftime.
Wasn't playing with y'all. He said, hold up, y'all think y'all doing work? Hold up.
Bro, that was like that little 12-year-old dude. They show him going around the internet. They say he played football or whatever. He 12 like a grown man.
Oh man, that joker looked like a giant, yo.
That's how Frank Gore was. He wasn't short. He wasn't tall. Frank wasn't tall, but he played like that. That boy played like that.
That's disrespectful.
That boy too big.
Yo, you gotta have physicality limits, man, because these kids are built like teenagers against. You know what I'm saying?
So?
When you talk about that boy, teenagers. When you're talking about that boy who was playing amongst them kids, and
that's an anomaly. That's just one. You think about it, these kids. When we look at kids, they're nowhere near the size, big strength, of everything that we was growing up. They're smaller. That kid just a big ass, a big kid.
But the rest of them, hold up. There's size differences too, right? And you'll have situations where somebody got a growth spurt. And guess what? They the giant on the team. It just happens like that. I'm not blaming them or anything like that. But when you see that, you might want to skip him into varsity, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
do something. Varsity 12, bro.
Nah. Hey,
I'm with a mustache. With a mustache.
Hey,
with a mustache, bro.
When I
he got more than me, bro.
Hey, when I graduated high school, right, I'll never forget this. They invited me out to help coach the JV football team, right? And I had this offensive lineman. He was the biggest dude on the JV squad. He was a defensive tackle, matter of fact. I'm sorry. I can't remember their names. I'm sorry, I'm old. But I had Stormy, who was the running back. He was the runner-up to be the running back for the varsity team, right? This was Darius Butler's little brother. He went on to play for New England and the Colts and all that, right? So anyway, I said, you know what? We was running drills, and I say, I'm going to put Stormy against my biggest dude because Stormy not finna run over everybody on the field, right? Yo, I put my big boy up against Stormy. Stormy flatlined his ass. I'm talking about hit him and just kept moving like he wasn't even in front of nobody, right? Yo, the kid got up and he was teary-eyed. He was like, I'm sorry, coach. And I'm just like, nah, you good, man. I was like, don't worry about it.
He said, I'm sorry, coach. He's like, man, he already felt big for nothing in his heart, bro.
Because I done hyped him up. I said, you go take that boy. Man, Stormy flatline, buddy. I was like, oh, Lord. Stormy was a real deal, man.
Yo,
Stormy was a real deal.
There was a dude like that in high school when I played, right? And this guy's name, I don't remember his first name, but his last name was Fronte, right? And This guy was Brazilian. I'll never forget this dude. Looked like a regular build kind of guy. But this dude was the hardest hitting dude on the team, dog. Like, I've seen him go up with people that were double his size. And when they're running, you know, normally when you running, right, the weight and the trajectory, whoever's moving faster and got the weight advantage is probably going to win that exchange. Not with Fronte. Fronte would stand them jokers up. Like, poof. And them dudes be like, damn. Felt like you went and you collided with a Mack truck. But this guy was maybe all of 5'9", 5'10", which is not big for, you know, football players.
That's about the size of Elvis Dumerville, but we'll talk about that right to get through your story.
So, you know, he wasn't that tall, and he wasn't even that big, but the dude was built something different, bro. Yeah, but I definitely feel you on that, man. That Stormy and Fronte it was causing problems back in the day, bro.
Yes, Stormy was. Man, he wasn't a joke, and he didn't even look like it. But go ahead.
Yeah, the guy. All right, so Frank Gore. I mean Frank Gore, right? I mean not Frank Gore, but Elvis Dumerville. I don't know how I met the nigga. No, I was trying to leave the West. Now I was trying to go to the J to go play out there at the J. So I get out there, I get man Cool. Elvis Dumerville, the nickname Cool or whatever. So I go meet Cool. So Cool, daddy like, you know, Cool like, man, he stayed by the West. So I'm like, how you stay by the West and go way to the J? You know what I'm saying? So I go to that dude's house and I'll show you one day. Matter of fact, as these man, in this yard right down the road from my church over there, right? This yard, they had a whole weight pile out there in the yard. So he had brothers like Louis Gaston, Curry Burns, and James Dumerville. They was in college, like one at Louisville, two at Syracuse. I forgot the brother. I just said the brother name. The other brother, man, this dude here was the strongest dude in college at the time. He had the strongest bench press, all this other stuff. This was the brother, Louis Gaskin or whatever. And Dumerville, he was like stock. He was short, but he was stocky. You know what I'm saying? So you would think he'll play linebacker, but he playing in. Man, that dude, man, was when I say you hit that dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing linebacker, going out there for linebacker, he playing in, so we working out like crazy. Man, that daddy, man, that boy's in the NFL. Well, he out of the NFL now, but he was in the NFL for a reason. The first round and all that. Man, that boy dad was on his ass, bro. I'm talking about everything, bro. Work. I'm talking about, bro. All he fed him was beans and rice because they Haitian, bro.
I knew it. I was just about to ask you because yo, when you said Dumerville, that's a Haitian last name, Dumerville.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, so I heard it and I was like, I'm away from him to pause up and ask him, is homeboy Haitian? Because that last name, I was like, yeah, I could almost bet it, especially when you're talking about Florida too. Well, it's only so many right ingredients before you get the storm. And
that's the only Dumerville I know. Him and his daddy and his brothers, them or whatever, James and him. That's the only Dumerville I know. Fun fact though, the crazy thing about it, my wife's ex-husband and the brother them went to college and they all friends and shit.
Oh wow. Yeah, man. Listen, Haitian people, man, yo, they stocky, man. It's that food the food that was created.
Man, rice and beans, bro.
It was
what's called legume. Yeah, legume,
yeah.
or whatever.
So, but you know, with the accent, I get it, right? So, non-accent legume, accent legume. But y'all, I'm gonna tell you, the food that was created was food for survival, right? To go ahead and make it
that so that it was herdy, bro.
Yeah, it was stuff that go ahead and bulk you up, right?
Yeah,
and you know, a lot of those foods may not be the best in the long run, but when you're talking about conditions that Haitian people have come from, now you can see how we develop this food to go ahead and survive, and it's pretty tasty too. Pretty tasty.
That boy done went to the cabin in the backwoods.
Nah, this been sitting here for about 2 years, bro.
Where'd you get that from? Tennessee, Georgia, where? Mississippi?
I can open. I thought I could open. Hold on.
No, where you got it from?
Ooh.
Where you got it from? That's a mason jar. I know what it is.
That's the shine.
Tennessee.
That's what I was
about
looking
2 years.
for. That's
I
what
don't
I
even
was
want to
looking
taste
for.
that thing, man. That thing
That's
look.
that shine, bro.
Ooh, the thing is jiggling, and you can see the stuff in it just like this shaking.
Yeah, throw a couple cherries in there. But check this out. Hey, listen, I think we caught up and we talked about a little bit of the back history already. I want to get into a couple of these topics, right? So the first one I think is one of the ones that's kind of current, and I think we all can kind of relate to. Well, let me not say relate to, but I think we all kind of have an interest in it because we all hip hop heads, right? Now, this new age hip hop, I'm not really. I just was told I'm old because I just got into Lil Baby, so it is what it
is. Wow, you old.
But you know,
old.
Yeah, but you know,
we the same age. Hey, bro, we the same age, boy. You old.
Listen, hey, right. But he said, "Little Baby is sliding." I was like, "Bro, you just finding out? You late?"
Listening to Rick Ross, man. Listen. Anyway, let me host the show. So here's what we do.
I know what it is, bro.
I'm the biggest boss.
Nah, you know him. He about money, bro. So he listen to everybody that gonna be all these rappers that's moguls. That's what he like to listen to, bro.
I like that.
Think about it. Go down here, track listen to rappers. Think about it.
My first promotion I ever got, the first song I listened to when I got in the car and I was driving home was "You the Boss." It was Rick Ross and Nicki Minaj. But anyway, I was like, so check this out. We go listen to this right here, then we go talk about it. Now check this out. I'm gonna run two back to back so we can kind of get some context, and then we go see what happened, and then we go come back and talk about it. Y'all ready? Here you go.
Our newsroom tonight, Atlanta rapper Gunna has been released from jail. He walked out of the Fulton County Jail less than an hour ago after accepting a plea deal in the RICO case against him. That's according to his attorney. The rapper, whose real name is Sergio Kitchen, sent a statement to 11 Alive saying in part, "I have chosen to end my own RICO case with an Alford plea and end my personal ordeal by publicly acknowledging my association with YSL." Gunna and fellow Atlanta rapper Young Thug are two of 28 defendants charged in this case. Prosecutors have alleged the YSL record label is allegedly connected to a street gang and street gang activity. According to his attorney, Gunna has now entered that Alford plea. That basically means he is formally admitting he is guilty while still pleading that he is innocent. In his statement, Gunna says when he became affiliated with YSL in 2016, he did not consider it a gang and was focused on entertainment. Gunna has been in custody since May, and we're going to have much more on this developing story for you tonight on 11 Alive News at 11.
All right, so that's kind of like a little bit of history on that, and then I want to show what was actually said in court. So this is Gunna actually being asked the questions and answering them.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. That's true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens.
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
All right, so there we go. So we got the news channel that's reporting on this, and then we got my man in court basically going through the Alford plea that I guess he agreed upon. Now, excuse me, I'm not that savvy when it comes to court proceedings and all this kind of good stuff, and I'm thankful for that, right? So I'm gonna kind of defer to you all to kind of tell me what's going on. Is Gunna snitch? What's the Alford plea all about? Did he sell the YSL out? Let's talk about this situation, man, because you know the streets is on fire right now. You got people like Boosie. He's like, oh, he don't mess with rats. I think 50 Cent done chimed in on the situation, and you got all these echo chambers, right? So what's this all about, man? And as the guest of honor, Manny Blac, I want to kind of toss the ball in your court, man, and you kind of fill me in on
you already want to talk about on my court. You know I'm going through court legal shit now. That's why you want to talk about. Boy, you ain't shit.
Listen, hey, the people didn't know that. The people didn't know that until you said it, bro.
Hey,
but
I'm gonna keep it real though. You know, I'm gonna keep it real though, bro. I put on my cap because that nigga's cap. Listen, bro. This is what I got a problem with, man. And this is from my sources, man. And it just see, in that statement you heard, the Alpha plea, you know what I'm saying? When you part of it's a lot of reason why you toss that ball to me. I just thought about that. But hey, listen, bro. Hey, listen, man. When you in part of something or organization, anything like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just like this. It's like, man, if we involved in something and you say you ain't involved in it, and it's just me and you sit there and say, hey man, it ain't mine. That put the blame strongly on me. The thing is, I have a problem with that is when you taking a plea, an alpha plea, and that's something that I just heard of, you know, the alpha plea or whatever. But the terms of the plea is you guilty, you saying you guilty for this shit, but you still saying you ain't do it. So it's like in a case like this, and you take a plea, right now they supposed to be entering all of them supposed to have been going to courtroom the next day with Young Thug and would have been like, hey man, it's still everybody should have been not guilty. We ain't taking no plea. When you admitted to saying, yes, I'm part of YSL, yes, I'm deferred, getting out of the street game, yes, I'm talking to kids about joining the street. You just turned that business, because YSL that we know of is a business. You just turned that business that's paid tax dollars. They got wired money from like shows and stuff. Everything about them. They got contracts from labels. They got a whole lot of stuff. So when you got all this going on, that's a business. The difference between them and the mafia on the RICO Act is the mafia didn't pay taxes on nothing. That's what the RICO came for. You know what I'm saying? So when you sit back and think about that, you just told them people that, hey man, these boys operating as a game. And most people in the streets know that YSL is not a game. You know what I'm saying? That's not a game. That's not an official blood game. They can't tie him to that blood game because they already got the leader of that game in prison already. You know what I'm saying? So they can't say he's the leader of that. So we're gonna say that YSL proved that label, y'all a gang, and we're gonna tie y'all into this. So that way we can put him as the head. You know what I'm saying? And by him admitting saying that what he said, he just threw everybody up under the bus. Now that road for to get long. Man, I just pray for him, man, because at the end of the day, everybody ain't built for it tough. You know what I'm saying? And he just threw his boys under the bus, man. And from what I heard, them boys ain't had no idea. All right, so let me tell you what I heard, man. So my sources told me, you know what I'm saying, that's somebody into that, I ain't gonna say in that camp because I have no affiliation with the camp, but I know some people that's around the camp, that's around that camp. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? They told me that they pulled them boys out out of their cells that night prior, saying that Gunna was not even in the same county jail with Thug. And they moved him to another jail, like another county jail prior. You know what I'm saying? So when they pulled them boys out that night, everybody that was involved, they pulled them out that night like they was going to court because they all knew they was going to court that day. You know what I'm saying? And they pulled them out not early. Like normally you go to court from county jail, they pull you out like 6 in the morning, and you'll leave out like 5, 6 in the morning to get transported to the courthouse. You sit there till it's time for you to go to court. That's how it normally goes. They pulled them boys out like 2, 1 in the morning, like 12 something out that night. Before that they cut the phones off, so them boys couldn't talk to nobody. So nobody had no idea that he got out. They didn't find out till they got ready for court, and they gave Thug his outfit. He went and got his lawyer, talked to his lawyer and stuff, and the lawyer said, hey man, you know that boy just caught the deal. That's when he found out. He didn't even know.
No, you know that's all tactical, right?
Yeah, it's tactical, but I'm just telling you.
What I'm saying is like, my man cops a plea, right? He puts this in, he gets out. So now here it is, Thug is sitting in jail. His lawyer comes in and say, hey, Gunna just got out. He copped the plea. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He home. Now you sitting there thinking like, well, what the heck happened? I guarantee you that man might open up and start spilling all the beans, bro, because that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because you got to think about two things
Hummingbird.
allegedly. Because all this allegedly. So let me say this allegedly. They had Thug and they had this other guy as the two starters of YSL. Then Ghana was the third, not the second, the third. You know what I'm saying? So the Young Thug co-defendant took a plea. He took a plea. Ghana took a plea. And the third dude took a plea. And these right up on the Thug. So you got the other guy that's a co-defendant who started YSL. Then you got Gunna. Then you got this third guy. Gunna had 5 years he was facing. The other guy had 10 years he was facing. And I forgot what the other guy is. I think like 7 or some shit. They all got suspended sentences.
So let me ask you this, because we referring to it as YSL, right? And I'm sitting here, I had to just look it up real quick.
Young Slime Life.
Yeah, it stands for, I got that part, but the RICO charge, racketeer influenced and corrupt organization. So what was YSL doing that got them here in the first place?
I mean, the professor got to speak on that. I can't speak on that, bro.
I mean, that's the question.
Because if I speak on it,
all this
but see, because if
and they found the gun.
Because if I speak on that, you got to think about it. I hold weight in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak on that. So I mean, he could speak on it. You know what I'm saying?
So
you already know.
Like on the official tip of things, they started following Young Thug 10, 12 years back. It started because they had issues going on with another rival. YFN, right? And I think it's Young Fly niggas or something like that, or whatever. I don't know, right? So these two had issues in the course of events that were actually happening.
Same blood set, not same blood set, but two blood gang members beefing.
So don't even say stuff like that. You don't say nothing. You don't say I got this.
That's on documentation. That's the reason.
Okay,
all this
cool.
Shit
so
that's on paperwork. I can say that.
I'm just trying to, I got you. So now when it come down to this whole situation, GBI started looking into it, right? Doug is very bold on these tracks.
Mm-hmm.
He's very bold on these tracks. It's not a coincidence that these things were occurring, and he was rapping about them too, especially when they were sitting there and they got your joint, tapped up and everything, looking into everything that you got going on. By the time that they came for Thug, they already felt like they had everything. They found a automatic. They found a gun with a switch in the wall. They found money in the wall. They had records of rent-a-cars that were rented under Thug's name. They have transcripts of him going ahead and say, "Hey, you ain't killed that nigga yet." And they were talking about Lucci. And so in jail, they don't have guns, right? Or no, it wasn't you ain't kill him, you ain't shoot him yet. And in jail, they ain't got guns, but that's a term for, go ahead and get them, right? So this is why, in turn, YFN released a statement saying that he fearing for his life, YFN Lucci, because all of these situations. What's that now?
Is that snitching?
No, because the thing about it was he said he's fearing for his life, right? So snitching, right? In my hold up, wait. Snitching in my idea of things, right? Let's say me and you go ahead and do some dirt together, right? We go ahead and we get knocked. So now we going ahead and we locked up. At this point, when I engaged in doing a dirt with you, right? I knew what I was getting into, right? So I don't go ahead and say nothing about situations like that, right? I don't go ahead and do that. When you talking about a situation where it's a rival dude, right? And he's trying to poke you up in the jail, and it's only you, and he's getting all this joint going over here. Yo, what you gonna do? You just gonna go ahead and just die? You're not saying necessarily like, hey, you know, this guy said this or this guy said that. He's saying, I'm fearing for my life. An attempt was made on me. I'm not saying by who, but I'm fearing for my life. You got to get me out, right? So he's talking in generics. If anything, if once you start getting specific, that's when you start hitting the snitch, right? You know.
Snitching.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll agree to disagree on that one. You know what?
No, because I'm gonna tell you from a prison point of view. You know what I'm saying? And prison, you know, like you say, when they say shoot a nigga, that means stab a nigga, poke a nigga, whatever. Different terms, with different type of knives. You know what I'm saying? So in prison, if I sit up there and I'm beefing and I'm part of, first they gotta look at the gang life. You're part of the gang. You're not a regular person. He's a gang member. So as a gang member, even if I sit there and go tell the officer, hey man, I'm in fear of my life, that word is called checking in. You checking in. That's because you're scared of your life. So they're gonna pull you out from the population and put you in isolation.
Right.
So you can be protected custody. That's a form of snitching. When you do stuff like that.
But how you snitching though? Who you telling on?
But that's the point. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to get you to understand on a gang level, on a street politic level, not as a civilian,
right?
Not as somebody that be in the streets. But I'm telling you from being in prison. I have been in prison. I'm telling you from a gang level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That you cannot go knock on no door and sit there and say, hey, you cannot check in and say, hey man, I'm in fear for my life. When you do that, automatically in the gang eyes and the gang world, that's a form of snitching. That's checking in because as a gang member, you know what time it is. If you got problems with niggas, you ain't surrounding yourself with your crew of niggas. You could be bad you could be bad with 50 dudes around you, but when it comes to you by yourself, you still got to stand that same ground. So if I'm in the cell, this had happened. I'm in the cell and I got problem with a rival person or whatever like that. There's 3 people came in there. I'll pull out my shit. I got to go for what I know. I'm gonna get poked up. Whatever gonna happen, what it's gonna be is gonna be. I can't sit there and go tell the officer because now niggas that ran down on me. Hey man, I'm in fear of my life and knocking on the door. I cannot do that. You cannot do that as a gang member. See, when you talk about these codes to a person that's not you, I'm just saying in general.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
So when you talk about these particular codes and you talk about snitching, you view snitching as most people view snitching as, hey, we got in the crime together and we both got locked up. The one told that's snitching. All right, that's snitching.
That's the official.
But it's also,
that's the most common.
Yeah, but that's common to civilians. In the gang life and the world of politics, definitely in the prison world, you cannot do that at all. No matter what prison going to the United States, you cannot go tell an officer you in fear of your life. Now, if you're a regular person, you're a civilian person, you're in prison and you do that, then that's one thing. But when you part of something, you claiming something, no matter if you blood, crip,
you're gonna have to answer somebody. You gotta answer.
And that's the thing. So when you send out that, you like if you're not part of that world, you'll never understand that world. You know what I'm saying? You will never understand the politics of that. You cannot just go in and say, hey man, I'm in fear of my life. That's called checking in, bro. That's like that's what you do to chomos. That's what you make people do to like rapists and pedophiles. Dog. You make them big to check in so when they come in there. You pulling out the knives. This is what you do. You know what I'm saying? So if it come down to you, it's down on you right now, and you turn around and say, hey man, big man, professor ran down on me. Now I've been walking about 30 people. I done got moved into a particular dorm, and I'm in a dorm with all my enemies. You got to stab me, beat my ass, and make me leave up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still gonna be good in my eyesight when I get around my people. If I go in that thing because I see y'all and I put a check-in move and I get the hell up out the door and they move me to another dorm, I don't want to go in there because of my enemies and all that crazy shit. You gotta think about it. Once you're a gang member, you're classified. So they know you're a gang member. 9 times out of 10, they put you in a dorm where your enemies at. They doing that tension.
Right.
They doing that to break you. You know what I'm saying? Because they might not like you for a reason. So I'm gonna put you over there with you just to do it. So now you could have other people on you, and you also can have your gang on you. You can't just go from jail to prison to prison to prison. That shit probably everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
no, I get
you
it.
gotta just take the shit. And as
You
a
just
game,
gotta
and he's
deal.
the
You gotta
game
deal
member.
with it and be 10
Yeah,
toes
he's a
down.
game member, so you can't say, man, I'm gonna fear my life. Second thing we're gonna touch on is about that court case they just had yesterday. That Reynolds shit got dismissed. The Reynolds shit you talking about got dismissed. The phone calls, everything got dismissed because they never had a warrant for that. That's the thing. They didn't have a warrant. So the lawyer pulled out that, hey, all this stuff y'all had and y'all ran and got this rental. Anything that's pertaining to that 2016 case with the rental cars and all that there, that got dismissed and got this. They cannot use that in court because they didn't get the warrant to the day after.
Oh shoot. Yeah, they was
So
it was
that was a big win that he just got yesterday. But carry on.
So really and truly, I got a homegirl of mine, man. We go ahead and politic about things, and she's criminal justice. And now, one thing that she said that was prominent that stood out to her, she said, "Hold up, how he get an Alford plea?" She was like, "Yo, they don't be giving Alford pleas in Georgia, right?"
That's a federal plea.
So, no, it's not even that it's a federal plea. It's the commonality of it occurring. It doesn't occur much in Georgia. Georgia don't believe in giving people Alford pleas like that, right? So
Florida don't either.
Right, they just like, we gonna go head up and that's that, and you gonna have to deal with your time.
It's more common with federal. That's why I say it's more of a federal.
Got you.
Most people
so
federal.
Understood. Now when she said that, that got me to thinking. My gears started moving, and she was like, "Hold up, that's something they did that for a reason." So now, when you think about it, this was a very strategic move, right? Because if you notice the things that he was agreeing to, half of the statement was normal, half of the statement was loaded, right? Where what he's saying over here is true, but what he's saying over here is questionable, right? So they made him agree to the true part of the statement, but in proximity of all these words in one sentence, you're going to agree to the other thing they said as well. I don't like that they did that, because technically speaking, the Alford plea is supposed to be something that is on an individual basis. It's not supposed to be considered snitching, right? But the questions that they were asking him in court were posturing him to be a snitch. That's what I think was messed up, because really and truly, he's just trying to go ahead and be like, "Look, man, I don't even want to deal with this, right? I'm going to go ahead and have an official admission of guilt, but I'm going to maintain my innocence," right? This is the critical focus of that whole Alford plea. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, hey, it's the equivalent to, on a misdemeanor basis, adjudication withheld, right? Or pleading no contest. That's how it's supposed to be. Now, when I go ahead and I plead adjudication withheld or no contest, nobody looking at me like
wants the shit over with.
Right. So it's like nobody looking at me like I'm a snitch. But in this situation, they were doing this to get the implications that they needed. And that's the thing that really sucks, because now everybody looking at him like he a snitch. But in the technical aspect of it, if anybody knows about the Alford plea is not something designed to go ahead and make you a snitch, right? But the questions that they were asking him, and I think those questions, I'm going to find out. I'm going to have a conversation with my homegirl, but I'm going to find out if this is a condition of the Alford plea, or if this was a condition that they gave him individually and said, "Hey, we could give you this Alford plea, but in order for you to give this Alford plea, you got to go ahead and say this, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. And if you look at it, it's a bunch of generic shit, but that generic shit is enough to make people sweat. Right? And I think that's the problem with this situation. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I just feel differently about it, man, because even taking the alpha plea, taking the plea, period, in the RICO case, automatic, you snitching, period. I got a few people up here now that's in part of 2 or 3 RICO cases up here and shit. And niggas snitching, bro. Like, you cannot take no listen, if it's 5 of us on the damn, if it's 5 of us right now, bro, on the case right now, if it's all us on the case right now, man, and then it's fucking around and one of us take a plea, we admitting guilt to the whole charge, period.
Which sucks because it's not supposed to even be like that.
But that's how RICO's go. See, the RICO's go like that. RICO's go. So think about it. What, like for instance, Tekashi. When you look at the Tekashi case, when he took the deal and took the plea or whatever, so he gonna cooperate. What them niggas did? Everybody started jumping on deals. They ain't even had to prove the shit they had to prove to go to trial with, because once one nigga take a deal, admission, they got guilt. So whatever they charge you with, they got guilt on it. So if everybody said back and everybody ain't taking no plea,
but Tekashi,
you gonna beat it all. You gonna beat it all day. But when the minute you sit there and somebody take a plea deal, it no matter if it's snitching or not, you just take a deal. Period. I'm gonna just take 3 and get this shit over with. Once somebody admit the guilt on the thing, that shit just count. That's just like I say, bro. If it's 2 people or if it's 40 people, one person break, now they got a case.
You know, I'm gonna be like this, right? You in all technicality, I believe that you're accurate, right? I think if you have a lawyer worth their spit, somebody could go ahead and say, well, listen, because this guy went ahead and admitted guilt, he's actually seeing the light of day. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually like accurate. Some people will say anything when you're talking about something that they won't, right? And that's what lawyering is about. It's manipulating the situation. So when you think about it in that sense, you could be like, hey man, he made this decision under duress. You know, hey man, I just want to get out. I just said, hey, you giving me the opportunity to see my family, I'm gonna say whatever. That doesn't necessarily make it accurate, right? They're gonna have to do the work. But I think the admission of it gives them the ability to make the rest of the people in that organization sweat. I'm gonna tell you that sweat factor is big.
You said all that just to say the truth at the end.
So let me jump in here real quick. So I guess this is what it boils down to, Professor. I'm gonna ask you a very direct question.
Mm-hmm. I feel like somebody trying to back me in a corner, but I'm gonna be all right.
It's just a question. Is he a snitch? Do you consider this snitching?
Damn, bro. I'm gonna say it like this. I've been around.
Be truthful though.
Calm down, sir. Give me my space. So listen, right? So look,
hey, we honking. Hey, keep honking. Hey, Manny, keep honking the horn on his ass, bro. You taking too long at the red light, bro.
Shut up, big man.
All you gotta do is yes or no, bro.
You shut up, big man. No, hold up. Listen, for real though, I've been around a lot of people that were they weren't neutral, and anybody in the affiliation, they know what that means. If you sign up for that life and you abide by them rules, then by definition you a snitch. Okay. So I'm keeping it. Don't okay me like I don't ever make the right decision in the end.
It's not right or wrong. Listen.
No, there is a wrong, sir. If I said the other thing, people would have been over here. Hold up, sir. Wait a minute.
The question no right or wrong, bro.
Is this
no right or wrong? He's right.
This is opinion. Is it snitching? That's all I'm asking. You took a
right or
way
wrong
to
for
get
that.
to the fact that he's a snitch. Okay, cool.
I believe there is a right or wrong, because conditionally, if you go ahead and you sign up for that life, that's what it is, right? I don't care if you're civilian or not. You chose to be a civilian, right? But understand that there are different levels of life. Just because you don't respect that doesn't mean that they don't exist. Right?
That's a whole nother conversation, though.
But no, it's a real one, because
it's a real one, but it's a whole nother conversation, because what happens is you can't compare somebody who chose to be gang affiliated versus somebody who chose to be a civilian. Like,
I'm not comparing them though.
The civilian is going to abide by the laws, where the gang affiliation is going to be renegaded. They're going to be renegades.
Yeah, but at the same day, they still have the fear. If you choose to be a renegade, right?
Then you need to go ahead and be a renegade all the way through and through. Don't wait till it go bad and all of a sudden you like, hold up, well, let me try to find out what's the best deal.
Yeah, ain't no comparison between the civilian and that life. You know what I'm saying? There's no comparison between that. What I'm saying is there's a common understanding, though, because whether you go ahead and live by that life or not, you understand that the consequences are real in any regard. So with you understanding that, you have to have some type of knowledge that, hey, we live in two different worlds. Whether I go ahead and run my life over here, that doesn't matter. You still need to know that this is real. So you got to respect the fact that this is their structure. This is what it is. That's how it happens.
I think the part that I'm struggling with what you're saying is it's not two different worlds. It's one world. You're just choosing to live a different way. Like, at the end of the day,
it's
the consequences. It's one world, and you're choosing to live a certain way within this world. Like, if you decide you want to go and be a renegade, then that's what you're going to do. But the rules are going to be the same for everybody.
You're simplifying it, right? And I get it. We're saying the same thing, but it's different. When you're a renegade, you don't live and you don't practice the laws, right? So you don't live in the same confines as a civilian. Is that not correct? And you don't care. You don't have a care in the world for any semblance of organization. You do what you do, right? You a renegade, but that's a different world. That's what I'm saying. So we are two people that are saying different things. You're saying saying the same thing, but in a different way. And you're saying they're different things. Nah, they're sir, whether you say it's one world and you choose to do this, or I say it's two different worlds, guess what? We're saying that it's different, right?
You stop calling me sir, first of all.
Sir?
Yeah, like, you're not going to do that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Hold up. Hey, Manny, this boy about to get it. He done violated, goddamn it.
Yo,
we not finna get into that. Manny, in your aspect, what are we doing? Is he a snitch?
Hell yeah.
You 10 toes down on that. That's what it is.
But it's a reason. It's a reason why I say that, though, because so get down to the facts. I never once heard Gunna claim a game. Period. I never once heard him claim the game. You know what I'm saying? But you rolling with game. You rolling with the shit. For instance, the car situation. When you sit in the car and you know a nigga got a gun in the car and y'all together, you ride and y'all got drugs in the car, and then you sit up there. Let's just say fuck all that other shit. Just put it on that particular topic with him and Thug in the car. They get pulled over. It's a gun in that bitch. It's drugs in that motherfucker, right? And then he turns around and sit there. And they just said on this plea deal, he just took the after deal. Hey, in that car with that guns, with them drugs and everything you on. He sat there and said no.
But that's what people say anyway, right?
Listen,
everybody's gonna say it ain't mine.
I
that's how it's supposed to go,
but,
and then they don't know who's what.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But if they sat there and he sat there and said and admitted to that, that automatically throw every blame on that shit into the other nigga hand. You only do shit like that. Say I don't know who shit that is.
But it's his word against the other person. That doesn't make it any stronger.
Listen, what I'm saying though, bro.
Go ahead.
When you come down to the streets, and a nigga sit there and say that ain't my shit, and it's 3 or 4 niggas in the car. That's when the game, like the blame game, it ain't mine. But it's just 2 niggas in the car.
It ain't mine.
Everybody know. everybody know that's in the streets. You shut the fuck up. Let the lawyers deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You shut up. He don't say nothing. Nobody admit guilt or nothing to that situation. Just be quiet. Let them figure that shit out. Because if you don't say it's you and he don't say it's him, then it goes into a fact that who car it is. If that's a car, other people could have had that car, this, that, and that. But if one nigga sit there and say, hey, man, that ain't mine, y'all might have put the blame on that nigga. Hey, now he got to try to figure out, not saying it's you, he got to try to say, well, it's the rental car. He got to put the blame, then that nigga be snitching. Right. But if both of you niggas shut the fuck up and you get pulled over, whatever, and they find that shit and don't say nothing, and you go into the jail and you bond out and y'all deal with it that way, they could put up. It's plenty niggas beating fucking any kind of charges when it comes to drugs and shit in the car because the cars be running.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I hear you, but for me, that shit is complicated, bro. This is why.
That's why you live a civilian life, bro.
This is why I'm a civilian. I ride solo. I be swerving by my damn self because. Man, forget all that other. Check this out. Right now, I got an insurance situation going on with the crib, right? It's going on 3 years. I've been dealing with this. And every time the lawyer called me, he talking to me like I know what the hell he talking. I'm like, yo, you need to break this down in the layman's terms. You're not going to talk to me and throw these big words out like I know what you're talking about. And then he'll say something like, oh, well, we just got to talk about what the settlement may be because the contractor said it's going to cost this much and we want to get them to cough you up this much. It's like, why couldn't you just say that in the first place? You come at me with all these other jargon. I'm like, yo, chill out. And that's just insurance, right? I could imagine sitting back thinking like, God, dog it, my life is on the line. I'm about to spend 30 years behind the G-wall. I ain't got time for that.
Now you got to understand this. What you just said is exactly what I'm going through, word from word. Talking to her, I got caught on the 12th next month. Like word from word, the time, everything you saying, I'm dealing with that right now today. So I'm telling you, when it come down to that shit, it's like for you, it's like customer service. You know what I'm saying? With the way you work, you know the ins and out of that shit. You know everything about it because that's what you do. So when y'all both are arguing about, it ain't the same real, it's different real, but it's a real within the real. Understand this, dog. At the end of the day, there are reals, but it's all one real. But it's reals within the real, so it's a universe.
I got you.
It's a universe.
I see where you're trying to go with it.
There's different planets, so it's different things. So when it comes down to it, depending on what planet you on, you know what I'm saying? That means what field you in, you become the expert in the shit, or you because you know, like if you ain't never been in a legal situation. You ain't gonna understand plea deals and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're taking in the trial because that ain't what you do. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody what they do, even to come down to the snitching shit. When I sat there and said you like it's complicated, and I'm telling you it's not complicated because I'm a nigga that's sitting in that bitch looking at niggas in and out of jail, waiting. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on my bond to go down. And I'm sitting there looking at niggas in and out, and these niggas beating cases because they ain't running cars and they ain't nobody. And they got other people. Nobody saying shit. So they be the runner people. They first thing the runner people think about is damn, that probably was left in the car. And the runner people don't be doing a good job of cleaning out cars and shit. That shit probably left in the car. Them niggas beating and walk the fuck out of there, not saying nothing. It's one. See, the first thing about shit with the police and prosecutors and shit, they need somebody to say something that is more than one person. They need somebody to say something. But now they got somebody to say something. That means here they got knowledge of it. First thing is having knowledge of it.
Listen, I hear you. This is why, hey, big man, sir, license registration. Here you go.
Nah, this is the same thing. This is a conversation. Because I'm gonna be, sir. I'm gonna be like, sir, I don't know why do you need my license? What did I do?
Forget that. But check this out. Bro. I'm not. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If it came down to it, and we in the car together, and you doing some stuff that's funny. Bro, you in the wrong car today because I'm not doing it. So check this out.
Funny. What am I doing that's funny, sir? I don't do funny things.
I'm just letting you know. So check this out. Let's push forward, man.
If y'all want to respond to him telling me that he gonna out me in his car, please email us at laborloungepodcast@gmail.com.
Leave it in the comments.
Big man. /
Leave it in the comments. Listen, if you get in my car and you got some funny stuff on you, plausible denial.
I
ain't know he had
he
that
said
on.
funny stuff. This guy sound real like, could you please get off my friggin' grass right now, bro? Like, what's going on, bro?
Absolutely. You know how
what's
much
going on?
Hey, you know how much I pay for my house? You better get off my goddamn palmetto grass.
Bro. Yo,
check
so
this.
big man,
I'm finding iguanas.
Big man is snitch.
You ain't got St. Augustine. You got palmetto grass.
I got palmetto.
Right? He's sitting over here with Kentucky bluegrass.
And I pay my boy a lot of money to come out here and make sure my stuff is manicured, looking cute every day. I'm not trying to make.
So officially, big man said he's gonna snitch on you if you in his car. And you
bougie.
I mean, he's supposed to. He's a civilian, bro. He's a. It's a thing. It's a thing that you got to understand.
No, but I get what you're saying. Civilians don't live by the same code. Period.
They don't. So that means you got to understand this. See, that's what. And listen, let me say this right quick, and then we're gonna switch to another subject.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem right there, where we get misconstrued.
Right.
I cannot. If I'm out there and I shoot somebody in front of this old lady, and she go to court on me,
she's expected.
That doesn't make her snitch. She's supposed to do that.
She's supposed to do that. She lived a civilian life.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, she ain't signed up for no soldier stuff and whatever.
Old lady doing that. Somewhere along the line of the game, that shit done changed around to it's okay. It's cool to shoot women. It's cool to shoot at kids. It's cool to do all this shit. That ain't fucking cool, bro. None of that's cool.
So right. You so right. There used to be rules to the game, and now it's just like, yo, it is what it is. Like, get it how you live it.